The incredible diversity of life on Earth is unified by a profound connection: common ancestry. Evolutionary theory explains this unity and diversity, supported by multiple lines of evidence from scientific research. Today we'll explore how the fossil record, biogeography and homologies, anatomical, molecular and developmental, provide powerful evidence for the shared ancestry of life. Let's begin with the fossil record, a natural archive of life's history preserved in layers of rock. Fossils are the remains or traces of organisms that lived in the past. By studying fossils, scientists can piece together the story of evolution, tracing how species have changed over millions of years. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence from the fossil record is the observation of transitional forms. Transitional fossils bridge the gap between major groups of organisms, showing traits from both ancestral and modern species. For instance, fossils of Tiktaalik, a creature that lived about 375 million years ago, reveal characteristics of both fish and early tetrapods. Its fins contain structures similar to the bones of tetrapod limbs, providing a snapshot of the evolutionary transition from water to land. The fossil record also reveals patterns of extinction and speciation, the processes through which species disappear and new ones emerge. These patterns align with the branching tree of life predicted by evolutionary theory. While the fossil record is incomplete, due to the specific conditions required for fossilization, the evidence it provides consistently supports the concept of common ancestry. Next, consider biogeography, the study of how species are distributed across the Earth. Patterns of distribution reveal the influence of evolutionary history and the movement of continents over time. For example, the unique species found on the Galapagos Islands played a critical role in shaping Charles Darwin's ideas on evolution. He observed that finches on different islands had distinct beak shapes and sizes, adapted to their specific diets. These finches likely evolved from a common ancestor that colonized the islands, with natural selection driving the diversification of their traits. Another striking example of biogeography is the distribution of marsupials. Marsupials, such as kangaroos and koalas, are primarily found in Australia. Fossil evidence shows that marsupials once had a much broader range, but as the continents drifted apart, populations in Australia evolved independently from those on other continents. This geographic isolation led to the unique diversity of marsupials seen today. Biogeography also explains similarities between species in different regions due to convergent evolution, where unrelated species evolve similar traits in response to similar environments. For instance, the sugar glider in Australia and the flying squirrel in North America both glide through the air, but they evolved this ability independently, reflecting adaptations to their respective habitats. Moving on to homologies, we find evidence of common ancestry in the shared traits among species. Homologies come in three main forms: anatomical, molecular, and developmental. Anatomical homologies are similarities in the structures of different organisms. A classic example is the forelimbs of vertebrates. The bones in a human arm, a bat's wing, and a whale's flipper are arranged in a similar pattern, despite their different functions. This similarity suggests that these structures evolved from a common ancestor that had a similar limb structure. In contrast, analogous structures like the wings of birds and insects perform similar functions but do not share a common origin. These differences highlight the importance of examining underlying structures to understand evolutionary relationships. Molecular homologies provide some of the most compelling evidence for common ancestry. All living organisms share the same basic genetic code, with DNA serving as the molecule of inheritance. Similarities in DNA sequences and protein structures reflect evolutionary relationships. For example, humans and chimpanzees share about 98 to 99% of their DNA, indicating a recent common ancestor. The molecular evidence extends beyond DNA. Universal cellular processes such as the production of energy through ATP and the use of ribosomes for protein synthesis demonstrate the shared biochemical toolkit of life. These molecular similarities suggest that all life on Earth evolved from a single common ancestor. Biologies reveal evidence of common ancestry through the similarities in structures develop into different features in mammals, reptiles, and birds. Their presence during development points to a shared evolutionary origin. Developmental homologies also explain vestigial structures, features that serve no current function but were useful to ancestors. The small pelvic bones in whales and the tailbone in humans are examples of vestigial structures that hint at evolutionary changes over time. In conclusion, evolutionary theory provides a scientific explanation for the unity and diversity of life on Earth. The fossil record offers snapshots of life's history and transitional forms. Biogeography reveals patterns of distribution shaped by evolutionary and geological processes. Homologies, whether anatomical, molecular, or developmental, highlight the shared origins of living organisms. Together, these lines of evidence create a compelling picture of how life has evolved over billions of years, uniting all living things in the grand story of evolution.